Is there not an entire section on this subject?
No, yes, I may have changed my mind in the meantime on that, so it's unfair. I may have changed my mind about Mithra, for example.
Is your book for sale about it?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me.
Say it like you mean it. This is my Bible.
What up? I got something to say.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 40 of Let Me Tell Ya. I'm your host, the Evangelical Norm. Welcome to 2020. And so I kind of took an unintentional week off. I actually did a podcast last week, but the sound didn't work. And so I took it down. And I'm not sure anybody wants to look at a video of my mouth moving for 30-some minutes with no sound coming out. And obviously the audio was the intro and the credits song at the end and 30 minutes of silence. So I took it down with the intention of trying to get back to it and getting it done, redoing it, and just never got the time. It was, holiday week and stuff like that. So there is one that is lost to the archives. I'll probably pick up a couple of things here and there, talk about some of the stuff. I may jump back and talk about one of the topics that I talked about last week today. I don't know. I just wanted to kind of reflect upon the new year. It is 2020. Do not abbreviate it, because apparently it opens you up to all kinds of fraud potential. You don't just put 010120, because people can add dates onto the end, and I don't know how that is going to affect anybody, but if you happen to have a job that dates could cause problems, do not abbreviate the year. Other than that, not that it makes a whole lot of difference, but it is going to be one heck of a year. So, the year in review, 2019, come and gone. What can you say about 2019? It wasn't 2016. So, we got a really good Star Wars movie from it, really good Avengers Endgame from it. So, on the movie level, it was really good. Some people would probably tell you that the endings of Endgame and The Rise of Skywalker could be the same movie, and I agree. But it worked for both. So, so 2019, a year in the books. Personally, for me, it was a pretty weird year. Looking forward to some changes in 2020. So, we're going to get back into podcast-wise for the show. We will, next Wednesday, we'll pick up, start over with the 2020 World Watch List, and the fifth seal we'll pick back up, doing every other week throughout the year until we get to November. So we'll have stories and stuff going on with the Persecuted Church twice a month. I'm hoping to do a little bit more with Unsolicited this year than I did. I did a lot at the beginning of the year, it seemed like, and then kind of the end of the year, things got a little weird. There were a lot of albums that I got that I never actually reviewed. So hopefully with Unsolicited, we'll be a little bit more active this year. Saints Unscripted took a week off of the Faith and Beliefs, so I didn't do a Master's Dog this week either. So, and there was nothing else. Well, no, nothing crazy theologically that I wanted to address this week. So, yeah, we'll continue as long as Saints Unscripted keeps doing their Faith and Beliefs segment. We will definitely have an episode every week of the Master's Dog. Otherwise, it's my Radio Free Geneva. For those of you who listen to Dr. White, that's what the Master's Dog is all about. So there will be stuff going on there. I'm thinking about, I don't know, again, that a lot of influences that I take from different podcasts and stuff that I listen to. Last year with Steve Deace was the year of no BS. And Doug Wilson does No Quarter November every year. I really want 2020 to be just no quarter 2020. I'm gonna pattern my 2020 after Ricky Gervais' intro to the Golden Globes tonight, and I just don't care. I do. I care, but I'm there are things that issues that come up that kind of get ignored based on what people might think, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to concern myself with what anybody thinks. My opinions are based strictly on what I believe is biblical, and that's the bottom line. And so my opinions about politics, my opinions about religion, everything comes from the worldview that that has been formulated in me through reading the Bible and the influence of the theologians that have ministered to my life. So the fact that there are people that I'm, whether they're people I'm friends with or relatives with, that might take issue with some of the things that I talk about. And so I've kind of held back a little bit. Yeah, go figure. So again, if you've watched or listened to this podcast at any time during 2019, yeah, I held back. I held back on some of those to not offend as many of the people that I thought might have been offended, if that makes any sense. And so 2020 is going to be, there is going to be some craziness going on in 2020 politically, in the realm of evangelicalism. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff. So I'm there. I'll be talking about it, every little bit about it, whether it has to do with complementarianism, female pastors, race issues, all those things. As they come up, I'm not going to shy away from dealing with them. And again, this is my commitment to you, to maintain a consistent worldview based on what I believe the Bible to show is true. I've always said, if you can come to me biblically and prove to me that I'm wrong, I'm more than willing to admit it, and I will. But my beliefs are founded in that biblical standard that I recognize. And so, yeah, so it's buckle up, because 2020 should be fun. And so a little bit political. It's an election year, and the field that has been presented by the Democrats is interesting, to say the least. Joe Biden seems to be losing a little bit of cognitive ability, which is kind of scary, because he's the front runner. But again, I don't think there's anyone the Democrats can put up that will beat Trump. And again, I'm not the most excited guy in the world that Trump is again the nominee on the conservative side of things. I really wish somebody would have. I don't think there's any way that anyone can mount a successful primary campaign against Trump at this point. But I would have loved to have seen somebody building it up over the last year to challenge him for the Republican nomination. And so, and Trump hasn't been the worst president in the world by far. but again, he's not. He's definitely not my first choice. As we get closer to November, I will probably do again what I did in 2016, and I just won't vote on the presidential side of things. I'll not going to drag my vote through the mud. And for all the people who want to go, well, not voting for Trump is a vote for the Democrats. And, well, by that logic, not voting for the Democrats is a vote for Trump, so you're welcome. And but I'm pretty sure that Trump's going to win again this year. The only person on the Democrat side, and we'll talk about it a little bit, that concerns me in the least is Buttigieg. There you go. Let's get everything in the room to ding at the same time, because somebody forgot to turn the volume down on every electronic device in the room, and they're all logged in as me. So people not comment on Facebook, you get to hear the dings. Buttigieg, back to Buttigieg. So here's what concerns me about him, and again, it's a concern that we should look at as believers, as Christians, and I honestly don't think he has any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say stamina, but the sustainability to beat any of the front runners. I don't think he'll make it past May in the race. He'll drop out sometime between now and then, unless something big happens. And with that, the reason why I find him concerning is the fact that he maintains a claim to Christianity. And so with the way that the Christian church has gone over the last few years, I mean, we've just seen it with the United Methodists are splitting. The United Methodist denomination is going to split over the issues of LGBTQ issues and women in the pastorate. And so because of this, there is a large group of again, here we go. We just got to go for it, right? We got to call it what it is. False Christians who are following after false beliefs, who have given up their belief in the truth and the reliability of the Bible to be true, and have given up those things and have embraced LGBT, love is love, and stuff like that. In the sense that there are enough of those people who are claiming to be Christian, who are LGBT confirming, and who may potentially, you would see those Christians turning their vote to Buttigieg if it got down to a general election. And so I think he could pull a lot of the I don't know that I would say he would pull the evangelical vote, but a lot of the just mainstream, Episcopalian, Methodist, liberal Presbyterian, he could pull a lot of those votes, because that's the trajectory that the church has taken. They've abandoned biblical teachings for what have become cultural norms, and the reason that they become cultural norms is because the church has failed. So Buttigieg would be the only person that I'd be concerned about, but again, he's a mayor of a itty bitty town, never had any other experience besides that. So there you go. There's my prediction for 2020. I'm pretty sure that Trump is gonna take this election again. And one thing, let's deal with this. I made a lot of predictions back in 2016 when Trump did get elected, that didn't completely come about. I made a lot of comments that I thought that he was going to go right back into his liberal Democrat roots, which he did not completely, which is good. I'll give him credit for that. He has done a few good things. I still don't think the Supreme Court justices that he put on the court were sufficient to the promises that he made. I don't think they're the pro-choice judges that we wanted, or pro-life. I think that Freudian slip. They're not the pro-life judges that we wanted. I don't think either one of these would be instrumental in helping to overturn Roe. But again, that's not our foundation in abortion ministry in any way. We're not just reliant upon laws. We want to see it criminalized, period. But ultimately, we go out for abortion ministries with the gospel. Excuse me. Sorry. One of these days I'll get through an entire podcast without yawning in your ear. The gospel is our source of any kind of ministry. But again, from a political viewpoint and a biblical worldview, we do want Roe overturned. And Gorsuch and Kavanaugh are not the judges that are going to give us that. So I do think with all the impeachment ridiculousness that is still going on, that I think the Democrats will lose the House. I think there's going to be a swing there. I think that the ridiculous continuation of pursuing impeachment for what are not impeachable offenses. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this president, but I don't think that he's done anything criminally wrong that requires impeachment. I think the impeachment issue, I mean, it's been a goal of the Democrats since the day he got elected and the day he was inaugurated to impeach this president. And it's just because they don't like this president. Well, you can not like a president doesn't mean you get to impeach him. I mean, not a whole lot of people on the Republican side liked Obama, and there was no impeachment going on there. So, I think we could see a turn back to a Republican-controlled government period come November, and it's still going to lead to nothing. Again, the charade that the Republicans put on of being this pro-life conservative party is really just literally is that it's a charade to raise money. They have no real desire. There's a few Republicans here and there that are truly on board with pro-life and religious liberty and things like that. But for the majority of them, it's just a way to raise funds to stay in their little jobs where they really do a whole lot of nothing. My personal opinion is they all need to be fired, and we just need to start over. We need to start over from scratch with a whole new batch of congressmen, congresspeople, senators, and so on. Never going to happen, but a guy can dream, right? So there's the political predictions and vision, vision for 2020. My political vision. I'm amazed. I really wanted to go through and start looking at some of the false teacher prosperity pimps that are out there today to see how many of them proclaimed 2020 as the year of vision. Joel Osteen and Creflo Dollar and Paula White and all those people. I'm sure there's a whole lot of them. 2020 is the year of hindsight, right? Because hindsight is 2020. And I look back and I looked on 2019 and I saw a whole lot of things that I did wrong that I need to change and stuff like that. So there you go. It's my vision for 2020. In the church, I'm looking at, there's a huge split getting ready to come up in evangelicalism. the SBC is just currently in such a fragile state, and I think you're going to see a huge split there over issues of females in ministry and the LGBTQ, everything that's gone on with Revoice and Beth Moore and Rachel Den Hollander and the Founders Ministry and all the stuff that kind of came together last year to just chaos in evangelicalism. I think this year may come to a head. I think we're going to see it, and again, it's because we have guys like Tom Askell and James White and Doug Wilson and Chuck Knox and the cross politic guys, Toby and Gabe, and there's just so many people. Apologia, just there's a huge group that is just like, we're gonna tell it like it is. We're gonna make the documentaries that need to be made to expose the issues that are happening, and it's going to come down to a point that I think there will be a split, and Beth Moore will become the president of one side of that split, the more liberal side, and then you'll see a more conservative stronghold. That's a bad word to use in regards to Christianity, but it works. A more conservative stronghold come out of it as well. I think a good return to biblical standards and so on. So you'll see the wishy-washy liberal side go one way, and those who want to hold to standards go another. I pray that I'm wrong. I pray that those things can be worked out, and solid biblical truth will reign in what is the largest denomination in America today, the SBC. But I'm prayerful, but I think the split's going to happen. That's where I stand on that stuff, and so yeah, there you go. There's just a little blurb. Happy New Year. Kind of let you know where my mind is and where I intend to go in the next year with the podcast. So, I hope, with my 70 some subscribers on YouTube, of which I think 5 people really watch, and my, I don't know how many subscribers I have through Pinecast and YouTube and Google Play and iTunes and so on. I mean, I have no clue how many people listen through those venues. I don't know that all the statistics and analytics come back to Pinecast, where I host my podcast from. I don't know that those all come back. So, if you're listening, I hope you keep listening and maybe share with some friends. Hit the share button, hit the notification button, do all those things. Share with some people that you think may enjoy listening to a crazy old dude with a really long beard opine about politics, religion, and the culture of the day. And hopefully you get a little bit of encouragement, consistency, biblical worldview, whatever it is that you get from it. I hope to continue to give that and provide that through the next year. And again, like I said before, I do this podcast because I truly think that, God has given me a desire and something to say. And so I want to continue to say it. And I want to continue to encourage you day in and day out with every episode of this podcast to do exactly what it is that I always ask you to do, and that is to continue to always preach the gospel at all times. Use words. They are necessary. And until next week, Soli Deo Gloria.